Pero delete your filter ang ginagawa sa mga taong may brain teaser. KaMAtis Analysis Unit ang magbubulat.
Hi! Welcome back sa KaMAtis Analysis Unit channel. At sana nagustuhan nyo yung bagong intro ko, no? Walang copyright yon kasi original. Anyway, pasensya na kayo at di ako masyado nakapag-upload. Ngayon mag-upload na ulit ako, hopefully na regularly na. Ngayon, tatalakayin natin is Anselm's ontological argument. Alam ko meron kayong mga nakita na explanation sa YouTube about ontological arguments. Kung napanood nyo naman, kilala nyo naman siguro sinasabi ko si Atheist Joy PH na tinry niya i-explain yung ontological argument pero hindi niya naman talaga in-explain. Parang, well, tinagalog niya, at least tinagalog niya. So, doon sa mga hindi nakakaalam at medyo malabo pa sa kanila, actually, may nauna tong video na to na tinake on ko yung argument at sinasabing explanation daw ng Anselm's ontological argument. Kung gusto niyo mapanood yon, lagi ko sa description yung ONTO-ILLOGICAL argument. Kasi maraming misconception, no? Maraming hindi nakakaintindi. Naintindihan ko naman kung bakit. So ngayon, let's start sa ontological argument ni Anselm. So ngayon, hindi ko muna siguro sa separate videos ko na lang yung mga criticism, yung mga objections about dun sa argument na yon. Kasi masyadong haba, gusto ko lang explain to as quickly as possible para sa inyo maintindihan nyo. So ngayon, kailangan mo natin differentiate yung dalawang klase ng reasoning, no? Yung inductive reasoning tsaka deductive reasoning. So, ang inductive reasoning is kailangan mo ng evidence or it's an implied proof para dun sa conclusion mo. So, science uses this na parang in a sense, it's a pragmatic thing. So, kung hindi nyo pa napanood yung pragmatic theory of truth ko, lalagay ko rin sa description para maintindihan nyo kung ano yung pragmatic kasi it's kind of the same as inductive aside from the sa abductive side, sa best explanation. Differentiate natin yung inductive tsaka deductive. Inductive is kailangan mo ng evidence outside para ma-support yung conclusion mo. Yun yung way. Like for example, yung Kalam cosmological argument, yung design argument, yung mga yan, mga inductive argument yan. Kasi kailangan mo muna ng evidence, kailangan mo muna ng proof outside bago ka makapag-conclude. It starts with evidence. Pero in deductive argument, it starts with reason alone. Ano to? Proof by reason alone. Ganyan yung nangyayari. So kailangan natin ma-differentiate yung dalawang yon and isa pang idea na connected doon is yung a posteriori at saka a priori. A priori is by reason alone, a posteriori is by experience. Kailangan mo ng evidence outside reason bago mo mako-conclude na tama yung conclusion niya. Yung ontological argument ni Anselm is hindi to kaparehas ng design argument at nung Kalam cosmological argument. So different to kasi ito ay analytic. So ngayon, alam na natin yon. Bigay ako ng example para hindi malito dahil ang definition na binigay ni Anselm sa first premise niya is the definition of God, a being than which no greater can be conceived. Okay, may mga taong na-question na parang okay, pero wala naman nag-agree na yun yung definition ni God. But according to Anselm, ang sinasabi niya is even a fool understands when he hears yung idea na a being than which no greater can be conceived. So, yun yung, miski yung atheist is may idea sila ng God. Right? So, ngayon, parang hindi kayo malito about this idea na parang bakit hindi pwedeng question yung definition na yun. Parang kasi ganito. Like for example, ang first premise ko is triangle has three sides. Parang kino-question mo yung definition ng triangle na parang, teka, hindi pa naman ako nag-agree na yung triangle has three sides. Pero that's the definition of triangle. So, ngayon, isa pang example is bachelor. Bachelor is an unmarried man. So ngayon, parang sinasabi mo is, teka, hindi pa naman ako nag-agree na yung bachelor is an unmarried man. But that's the definition of bachelor. So ang kino-question mo ito is actually useless kasi is true by definition. So yun, kailangan malinawan muna kayo doon sa first premise. So ang definition na binigay ni Anselm ng God is a being than which no greater can be conceived. So we cannot question that kasi that's the definition. So ngayon, the second premise is God exists in the mind. So ayun yung sinabi niya, even a fool understands when he hears yung a being than which no greater can be conceived. Na alam mong he's talking about God. Even a fool knows that. Miski yung atheist, may sarili silang alam nila kung ano yung God. So, bigyan ko kayo ng example ng siguro alam nyo na rin to. So, let's say, ang present mo sa akin God is the deistic God. Okay, so kung yun muna, dun tayo mag-start. And then, ang point nila is the deistic God actually created everything and then umalis na. Wala nang pakialam, wala nang ginawa or whatever, hindi nagpakilala or whatever. Let's start there. Ang mangyayari is, if that exists in the mind only, we can actually conceive or imagine a greater God than that. So, paano natin magagawa yon? Let's say, dagdagan natin ng all-knowing. So, okay, natapakan na yung deistic God kagad. Kasi, yung God na tinutukoy natin dito sa kabila is greater than that. Kasi great making property yung knowledge, right? So, wala na kagad yung deistic God. Pero, pagka dumating ka doon sa all-powerful, all-knowing, yung mga ganyan, mapupunta ngayon tayo sa Christian God. Kung meron pang higher dyan, maiisip mo, makakapag-imagine pa tayo ng higher than that. So, yun yung point ni Anselm dun sa if he only exists in the mind, then we can imagine a God greater than that God. Pero we cannot create something higher than that God. Therefore, yung God na yon is yun yung actually kailangan mo i-take on yung God na yon. Hindi yung deistic God. Kasi hindi yun God. Kasi natapakan na nga yun ng definition na greater. So, ngayon, yung exists in the mind. Okay na tayo doon. Ang buong point ni Anselm is it's either God exists in the mind only or he exists in the mind and in reality. Yun yung buong point. Mas greater yung mag-exist in the mind and in reality by definition. Kasi he exists only in the mind, then hindi niya mo nakuha yung definition na yun na being than which no greater can be conceived. Ayun yung nagiging problema. So ngayon, ma-force ka ngayon mapunta doon sa he exists in the mind and in reality too. Kasi hindi greater yung God na nag-exist only in the mind by definition. So kailangan ka mapunta doon sa in the mind and in reality. So yun yung greater God kaysa doon sa nag-exist lang in the mind. Some people would call this as proof by contradiction. Kasi ang ginagawa is ina-assume mo muna yung negation as true para i-prove yung original assertion. Like, ang original assertion is God exists in the mind and in reality. So, i-assume mo muna yung in the mind only. Ang gusto mong gawin sa proof by contradiction is to say na this is not false. So, kapag sabi mong this is not false, ibig sabihin nun, it's true. So, yun yung buong point ng proof by contradiction. Pag nag-assume ka, in-assume mo muna yung mind only, then it will run in contradiction do sa God sa being than which no greater can be conceived. So, yun yung buong point ng proof by contradiction. So, kailangan nyo mag-concentrate dito sa definition. Kasi itong definition na to ang nagdala sa lahat. Okay? So, yung mga ibang objections, dun ko na lang siguro ayusin sa ibang videos ko. Pero, i-take natin, by reason alone, di mo na kailangan pumunta ng labas para mapatunayan na totoo yun kasi you can actually prove it by reason alone. Pangalawa is kung nag-exist lang siya in the mind, and then we can conceive or we can think of a greater God. So, the definition, napaka-important definition, a being than which no greater can be conceived. Then, sa proof by contradiction niya is if you assume na he only exists in the mind, then it actually destroys the whole definition. So, mapupwersa ka mapunta doon sa in the mind and in reality too. So God exists. So ngayon yung mga problema about the is existence a property, yung mga ibang objections about doon, sa susunod na video ko na lang gagawin. At meron nga pala akong message para doon sa mga fans ni ATS Joy PH. Every time nagagawa ako ng video sa next about him, I will not open the comment section kasi I want him to answer me. Kasi walang silbi yung answers nyo. Kahit si Matt Dilahandi pa yung sumagot. Nonsense. His comment section is open pero he doesn't even answer my questions since the beginning of his videos. Gusto ko lang magsabi ng in advance do sa mga followers at fans ni ATS Joy PH kasi I want him to answer, not you. I won't waste my time sa comment section para i-troll nyo ako. Pero kung gusto nyo talaga, well, you can actually make a video if you want. And then I will answer you that way. Or if you want, you can actually comment dun sa page ko, KaMAtis Analysis Unit. So, ayun, salamat at sana na-explain ko ng maayos at naintindihan nyo. Pero pag hindi, mag-comment lang kayo.
Ignore filter ang ginagawa sa mga taong may brain teaser. KaMAtis Analysis Unit ang magmumula